You know how everybody nowadays is going on about AI, artificial intelligence, ChatGPT and Grok and whatnot. A lot of people are getting into a panic about AI, about that it's going to take away jobs and that it's replacing a lot of people, or especially creative people as well. And they're afraid of AI. But I think they shouldn't be. In a sense, they should be, because yes, AI is going to take away a lot of jobs and a lot of people's means of living, and that is a concern. But for the creative people, for the writers, I don't think it's a problem. If you're a certain type of writer, or if you're a certain type of creative person, right? So I'm going to use an analogy here. Think about the right and the left side of your brain. The right and left hemispheres of your brain, right? The left deals with language, logic, analysis, right? So it's very reason orientated, right? Now the right side of your brain is more to do with imagination, images, right? Music, rhythm, and whatnot. So if you take those two hemispheres and apply it to the idea of AI, right? Bear with me a second, right? Because I don't see anybody else talking about this, or I haven't heard anybody else talking about this. But I think there's a strong, I think there's a strong relationship there between the two. For example, think about creativity like this. Okay, there are two types of creativity. There's synthesis and there's intuitive, right? Synthetic creativity and intuitive creativity, right? Now, creativity in the synthesis aspect is when you take bits of information and you make something new, okay? When you take groups or bits of information from other areas and you combine it and make something original, okay? Original, right? That's with synthesis, right? It's original, but not in a sense that it came from nowhere, that it came from nothing. It's original in the sense that you took parts of something else and you made it into something new, okay? It's original in that sense. Now, if you take intuitive creativity, right, that's where you create something out of nothing. When something emerges from nothing, right? That's intuitive creativity. AI cannot do that. It never will be able to do that. At least I don't think it will be. So if you're a creative person or a creative or a writer that creates something out of nothing, okay, you've nothing to worry about. You will always be highly original, okay? AI is not going to take that away from you unless you let it, unless you revert, or unless you change to the synthetic creativity, right? Or if you change to that way, if you take bits and pieces from, like, okay, forget about AI for a second. Imagine you were that way before, where you were just influenced by other areas, let's say you're a writer. You're going to take other influences and combine them and create your own thing, right? Which everybody does in a way, if you're a writer. But if you're just an outbound genius, right? If you're just an utter genius, you're not going to be influenced by anybody else. You're just going to create your own thing. You're going to be truly novel, right? You're going to be truly original. Mm-hmm. So what I'm trying to say here is that think about it from the right side of your brain, okay? The right hemisphere of your brain, where it produces things out of nothing. It's intuitive, right? Some of the greatest works, some of the greatest pieces of art came from nowhere, okay? These are the things that stand on top of everything else. They just came from nowhere, right? Whether it's music, whether it's painting, I guess, and certainly to do with literature and writing. So don't worry about AI, okay? If you're an intuitive creative, right? If you create things intuitively, AI is just going to be your helper. It's going to be like, I know this, people have said about the calculator before, it's just going to be your calculator to help you with your mathematics, whatever, of course, in a creative sense, I mean. So, but if you're the other type of creative, if you're a synthetic creator, if you rely on synthesis, well then AI is probably going to be a problem for you, right? And in fact, you probably feel intimidated by it because you know it's better than you, right? It's better than creating things originally from things that were already there, right? But if you're the other type, it's not a problem. So, whichever one you are, you answer that. I know which one I am.